Hi, welcome to Strength Reversed. It's Amy. Thank you so much for being here today. I am on spring break, and I'm telling you that, first of all, because of the hair, but second of all, because I want you to be a little bit jealous. It's fabulous. And I am doing another installment of Mascha's Top Tarot Trumps, and we are at number 4, the Emperor. So I pulled an array of Emperor cards, most of which I really like, and then a few examples of Emperors that I don't really like, because I'm finding as I do these installments that the cards that I don't like give me a lot of information about what I'm really looking for in that card. Because if I ask myself what makes a good Emperor, sometimes it's hard to put into words. The Emperor, however, is one of those cards, especially, well, with a lot of cards, I'm not necessarily looking for a certain symbol or color or whatever. I'm looking for a vibe. And the Emperor especially either gives me a vibe that I like or I have no patience for him. So I'll go through what I see as the Emperor, the meaning of the Emperor, and what I look for, and I'll show you some examples. So the Emperor is the divine father. It's part of the divine masculine. It's kind of like the Empress is the divine mother, like Mother Nature. The Emperor is the other part of that and complements the mother or the Empress. And the Emperor, for me, I think of him in my head as, I guess I would say, an alpha male. And I don't mean that in a TikTok sort of way. I mean that as a man who is strong-minded. He has to be a little, I prefer an Emperor who is depicted as a little older, who has some life experience. He's wiser, he's seen a lot of good things, but he's also experienced the consequences of things like war, or what can happen when things go too far. And so he is someone who, just like a good father, can sometimes be stern and sometimes be very gentle. And because he has seen difficult things, he knows the importance of that gentleness. So he's someone who is a caretaker. He has lots of responsibility. People depend on him, and he rises to that. He keeps people safe. He enforces rules. And we have to remember that as the enforcer, he is enforcing the Empress's law. So he's enforcing, the laws of Mother Nature. He's enforcing the laws of his kingdom. And that is because, not because he's a control freak, but because it keeps people safe. Sometimes, though, when we go around the spectrum of the Emperor, things can go awry, and maybe he is overbearing, maybe he is abusive, or can bully, or he can be antagonistic, or he can also be ineffective and just kind of wimpy and not a very good leader. So when I look at the Emperor, I really look for the posture of this man. I like it to be a balanced, sturdy card. It is a number 4, so it represents stability and strength. And I just like a sturdy looking fella. So here we have the Robin Wood. This is my gold standard, and I love his, almost looks like concrete or stone throne. And I like him because he looks benevolent. Like, he's been around, but he's not mean. He can be fierce if he needs to be, but he's approachable. Okay, I like that. I don't know what's wrong with my focus lately. That might be metaphorical. I just said a boatload. And of course, on a lot of these cards, there are symbols of Aries, or the ram, which is the god of war. And, Mars rules this card. Lots of these have scepters, and again, for me, the scepter, I know a lot of them have ankhs, which symbolizes life. I don't really care. I mean, I do, but I don't. I'm not looking for a scepter. A lot of my favorite emperors don't have one, so it's not necessarily any particular that I'm looking for in the card, just, you know, a demeanor. This is from Tarot of the Weird, and the Empress and Emperor are called the mother and father, which I like. I like that aspect of a card, because if you think about father, someone in my comments said, I think it was Tangy Tarot, said, talking about the Empress, I had to get past my own mother stuff when thinking of like the mother, and I think that's true for any of these cards, like getting past personal things and looking at maybe a bigger, broader picture. That was especially true for me of the Hierophant, because I had to get past like the Catholic schoolgirl, you know, kind of stuff that I brought to that card. And there's usually like a stag or some sort of deer, moose, or whatever it is in these cards. Some sort of horned animal from the forest. Anyway, okay, that was weird. One of my favorite emperors of all times is the Lightseer's Emperor. I just like this guy. This to me is Emperor vibes, and there is that nod to the ram, Aries. I love that he's holding a chess piece, because it's kind of him thinking of the next move. He's in control. He knows how to play the game. And I love how he's sitting, because to me, it's just so cocky and arrogant. I love it. It's maybe not cocky and arrogant, but it's borderline. And I kind of like that. I kind of admire that. Like he's can deal with anyone. He can stand up for himself. You're not really going to cross him. He's kind of that F around and find out kind of energy. And so I like this guy. He looks like the CEO of the company. He's confident. He's comfortable with himself. And he can be cool, or he can lay the smack down. Either one. The Mystical Moments Emperor is interesting, because in this deck, and I talked about this a little bit when I did a review of this deck, I don't know when that was, a long time ago. Here's the Emperor. But this deck talks about being a feminist tarot, and one of the ways they approached that is to make female versions of the Emperor and the Four Kings. I'm not sure, maybe the Magician also. So we have an Empress card, but then we have a female Emperor, which, I mean, it goes without saying that all of these cards do not represent necessarily men. They're archetypes, and so they can represent anyone. This vibe, this energy from the card isn't necessarily talking about just a man. So I don't think that it's necessary to get rid of men in the deck. And this card isn't terribly useful to me, but I do like some of the imagery, whether it's a man or a woman. So someone who's very regal, they have this bigger stature compared to everyone else. They have this, you know, place that they rule over. And this goes into the more difficult aspects of this card, which is, yes, you are helping people, but also you are controlling people. So control can be a difficult aspect. This guy I like because, you know, he's very, I guess, intellectual. He can think about things clearly, and then this is supposed to represent his wisdom, his age. So I like that. I like emperors who, like this guy, just have that vibe of being very self-assured. Like there's nothing new. You can't surprise them. They've seen it all. They can deal with any kind of person, difficult people, sad people, happy people. Where am I going with this? So these three cards have that vibe that I like from an emperor. This is from the Pulp Tarot, where he's older. He knows he's earned his spot. He's sitting in this very sturdy, stable place. But he has a fist and he looks like he'll beat your ass if you get out of line. Here we have the Santa Muerte Tarot, and I just love this guy's machine gun. It's hilarious to me. So he's just like, try it, you know? And then this is from the Dreamkeepers Tarot. I think this guy he's calm. You know, he's not going to yell and scream and get loud. He has this calm, quiet strength that I think is much more effective. And that comes from, you know, he's dealt with lots of different scenarios. And so he just knows that he can handle anything. Here's another one that I really like, and that's from the Star Trek The Next Generation Tarot. The Emperor is Commander Riker. And that personality, I think, captures the Emperor very well. He's a nice guy. He's someone you'd like to play cards with or shoot hoops with, but he will also, he's not afraid to like tell you exactly what he thinks, and he's still the boss. You know, he's going to correct you, or he's more willing to scuffle than maybe Captain Picard is. So some emperors that I'm not really loving is, first of all, the Japarise Tarot has an emperor that it confuses me, because this emperor is called War, and that can certainly be one extreme meaning of this card is war. Now, the emperor is wise, and sometimes he has to go to war, but he's wise enough that he doesn't pick fights just for the sake of picking fights. I don't think that's his style unless he's completely out of whack and the energy has gone off the rails. I'm not sure about this really one negative aspect called war. It's very limiting. And the Golden Girls Tarot, the Emperor is Stan, and I cannot think of a less emperor-y emperor. It's, again, a really extreme negative aspect of the Emperor is to be this kind of wimpy, whiny, not fulfilling his obligations, you know, selfish, you know, cheater, you know, I'm like, really, Stan? I don't know. No. So anyway, that is the Emperor to me. I think probably the Light Seers is hands down the most Emperor vibe of all of my Emperor cards. So yeah, I do like this guy, and I, you know, sometimes look to this card as I wish I could just be calm, cool, and collected. I'm more of a hothead. You know, I'm more of a lots of bluff and bluster kind of person. So, yeah, alpha male. He's hot. Okay. Anyway, I look forward to the Hierophant, which is going to trigger a whole bunch of Catholic schoolgirl memories, and we can talk about that next time. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I'm looking forward to watching some videos about the Emperor that other people have made. Bye!